There's certain people in the world that are famous just for one name. That's all people have to hear is the one name. Like you don't have to hear Mark Putnam.
Pele. Pele, right?
I think it said L.A.
No, Pele.
Pele, that's right.
Gandhi.
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah. It's not me, but it's someone else with the first name Mark.
How you doing there, brother? How's your weekend?
Good. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
This is for everybody that doesn't remember. This is great Mark Puttenvink from Patriot Training Systems. You can train anybody in the planet or any universes that are out there. Any kind of aliens, anybody that needs training at all.
Here's something interesting. So
You're interesting. You're interesting as well.
Yeah, that's what Beth says. Anyway, I train a family every Sunday, the whole family. So mom and dad and 3 girls. One of the girls is a black belt taekwondo, so they're taking like more, combatives kind of thing. We're to do some stuff. So I ran a little test yesterday. I didn't think this up. Tim Larkin, who's out in Las Vegas, he did it. And what he did, he shows people illustration of someone choking somebody.
Oh.
And the question is, Tom, what would you do in that situation? So most people go, well, I would either try to strike his face or go for his groin. And everybody said the same thing, how they're trying to escape this. I said, why not? How come nobody here identifies with the person choking the person?
Oh.
Now, what's interesting, what Larkin found out was when he did this with criminals, every single criminal identified with the guy actually doing the choking.
Doing the choking, oh.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that we walk around in a victim mentality.
Right.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting kind of thing.
There's our buddy at Chicago, Mr. William Haynes, a magical veteran. Conductor, you. All right. So we try to stay away from talking politics, but there's just no way we can not touch on. We'll try not to talk politics, like picking sides or anything like that. But obviously we had the debate. The debate was what, Thursday night?
Thursday.
Thursday night.
Yeah.
So here, okay, I'm going to give you my quick theory. I think that the Democratic Party never wanted Biden to run the second time, right? Okay. So they knew the way he was. I mean, anybody that tried to pretend they couldn't see him over the last 6 months deteriorating even more, like not being able to speak and falling down, they knew that. So they planned this debate well enough ahead of the convention where they knew, you like this? So now they knew he was going to crash and burn. And now everybody's going to rally behind and say, we need to get that new nominee, right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think they've really worked themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
Because the next in succession would obviously be Kamala Harris, and she polls lower than Biden.
Right.
So they've really worked themselves into a corner. And, politics aside, because you and I, we don't like to discuss politics, but the reality of it is people have to understand, as commander in chief, think of this. This is the guy that is the commander in chief of our military.
I know.
He has 6 minutes to decide if we're launching or not. 6 minutes.
I'm not laughing because it's funny. That's a scary thought.
Now it leaked out to the press today that his hours of functioning.
Yeah, I saw that.
Are from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
And listen, we've all been through this with our parents. I mean, my mom was the same way. After 4 o'clock, they get angry. It's called sundowning.
Sure.
And he shows all the. I mean, you saw Trump walk off.
Yeah, I know.
And then he had to be helped down 2 steps.
And then how about his wife? You're so great.
Problem.
You answered all the questions. You knew some of the answers.
Like he's a toddler. Joey, you did such a good job.
God.
You answered all the, it's really sad. And
yeah.
Again, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, conservative, libertarian, Green Party, that part. Problem is, this is a huge, huge risk. Now it's affecting our lives from a security standpoint.
Who's the one reporter? Piers Morgan?
Piers Morgan. Yeah.
He actually, I don't usually like his stuff, but he wrote something very interesting saying what we've talked about, saying they should be ashamed of themselves for putting him up on stage like that. It's just not.
Well, she's late. He called her Lady Macbeth. She doesn't want to give up the perks because once they leave this office, what happens? They're done.
Totally.
And she likes the Air Force One and be
that is
like the queen.
That scene where they had Trump walking off and then him coming down the stairs sideways, like shithole.
I mean, and then in all fairness, I wasn't like Trump. I don't know, man.
I don't. You know what I always felt like, and I give him credit. If this is what he did, he almost felt like I can't pick on this guy too badly. Like if he tried to just destroy this elderly man with dementia or whatever he's got, then it would look terrible, right?
When he said, I don't know what he just said. I don't think he knows. That was all really. That was the final nail. But when he really kind of got to me when I started going about the golf.
I know
because. On the one hand, it's funny, but on the other hand, people are making decisions. Do I get food or do I, and that's really showing an elitist kind of attitude.
It's just,
but he get drawn into it because his ego is too big.
Yeah.
But
like there was really no discussion, like a back and forth discussion about facts. It was.
You can't.
Yeah.
I mean, When he starts going, well, at least we killed Medicare. I'm like, wait, oh my
Oh,
God.
that ramble was, that was incredible. I feel bad. I try not to laugh, but it is funny. I mean, again, if your grandfather, whatever, you would feel terrible for him. But
I don't know if you've seen this. If you haven't, I'll send it to you. There is a video of Dana Bash. You know, so you had what's his name, Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. And she's sitting there going like this, like you can't see my hand. She's going like he's talking to Biden. Like she kept. I'll send it to you.
Oh,
on the one hand, it's pretty bad that they're
like they did that. Whoever it was, they cut Biden off there. Where you talked about we beat
Medicare. When he said Medicare, boom, Tapper went right to Trump. Yeah. They tried to protect him, but there was no protecting him. I mean,
I know.
It's just the old emperor with no clothes.
Yeah.
But it's really the security issue is really concerning.
Yeah, I agree.
This is not good.
Like the whole thing from 10 to 4. Like, so what if some emergency happens at 1 o'clock in the morning and he's on medication?
Even between 10 to 4. Let's face it. That means he's up and about.
Yeah. But I mean, if he has to take medication like at 1 o'clock in the morning and all of a sudden there's a national emergency, but he's not making decisions anyways.
No, it's the third term. We know that. And that's an issue too, because that's not who we elected.
I know. Barry Shelley had the magical creature Tracy Marie up in
Cooperstown. I already had a visitor over.
Yeah.
Tracy and the boys playing baseball.
We'll debrief Barry here in a little bit, see how that went, like how she acted. The word was that she had security team with her and everything. So,
Jason,
yeah. Hold on, somebody's on vacation with his gorgeous wife there at Caesar Palace, Southern Indiana.
Very
you guys
cool.
ever been? I've never been there. No, I didn't know.
Not the new one. I mean, I haven't been to the Globe yet.
Yeah. Well, we'll touch on that with the Sphere too.
Caesar in Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana. Biden shouldn't be commander in chief of SpongeBob.
That's my boy Keith. Yeah, Keith. When I read one of the donors are really PO'd because they already bought these tickets for this event that happened. And one guy goes, at this point, I'd rather pick a guy out of the phone book.
I know. Isn't that true? That's terrible.
They're not happy. I mean, they don't want to
I thought it was terrible when the choices were Clinton or Trump. And now our choices. Yeah. I mean, again, it's terrible because you think to yourself, we're national, like we're a worldwide joke. I mean, the people around the world are going to go.
This country is and that's the thing too, that if you look at what they talk about, diversity, equity, inclusion, and all that kind of stuff, which, we can discuss that differing opinions, but who's really running? It's a bunch of old white guys.
Oh yeah, I know.
Mitch McConnell's about 170.
I know. Isn't it? Yeah.
He keeps freezing up, and Biden and Trump and Pelosi, she's 95?
Yeah, I know. You think about it, if you're a young Asian person, if you're a young Black person, you're thinking this is the people that are making decisions on my behalf on the country.
Well, yeah, and it's look, there's the best and the brightest. Unfortunately, Tom, we fall in this. I mean, we sit around. Technology is a struggle for us, a challenge, right?
Yeah, sure.
So we shouldn't be in charge of technology, but yet these people are.
Oh, I know.
They're discussing AI. They don't know what AI.
I know. Oh, here's the big news, though. Did you see the Huck Tour girl was up on stage with some country singer?
Good for her.
Yes.
Why not make a cottage industry, make some money out of it?
She's made apparently a little over $65,000 on merchandise so far. Problem is, though, I wish she had got a lawyer quicker to kind of
trademark,
copyright, all that stuff. Yeah. But if she's smart, she'll still do a lot of stuff. She was fun. Sure. She was up there singing the whole bit. Don't you feel good for a young girl like that? That's funny. Yeah.
Get her 15 minutes of fame, get as much you can out of it, and then move on.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, she's smart though. She can build a whole career out of it too.
Could. Yeah.
Started out saying the theory being I'm the Hawk Tour girl, but now I've created myself into something bigger and better.
There you go.
Yeah. Teaching women how to. That's terrible. So the Sphere, did everybody see the draft on Friday and Saturday?
Really cool.
Wasn't that cool in there?
Yeah,
oh man.
Cool.
I recommend everybody. So we went in, I think I've told people before, we went in there early in the year, a bunch of alumni, Adam Graves, myself, Stephen Matteau, Darren Langdon, Nick Fatile, and families and everything. So it has a really nice trip. It was a thank you trip. So one of the things we did, we were there a couple of days, went to the game, and then we went to the Sphere. And it was cool. And it really showed that too on TV. That was excellent. Yeah.
Some young man I know went out about a month ago to see the Grateful Dead, whatever. But the whole, it's a show. It's a complete. I'm not a Dead fan, but it did look really cool.
Yeah. They're saying that the draft is going to go back to the same way that the NBA does it, where they do it remotely. Because I guess, like you look at the Florida, for example, they won the Stanley Cup one on Wednesday. Is that what it was, Wednesday? Now they got to get. Yeah. And typically the teams come in for a whole week, or at least 5 days before the draft. So they're saying they're going to try to do it. I wish they did it in Vegas all the time. That was perfect. But
Yeah. They should. They should do it in one spot every year.
yeah, it'd be nice. But again, the talk was they mentioned at the draft that they'll do remotely from that one.
No, so but what would be the reasoning? Why would they do that?
It's more of a travel because they condensed everything since the playoffs went so much longer. Then they've got the draft, and then there's the free agency that starts today. So it's tougher on the teams because it's so much travel, and they need to be in locations. Like today, the free agency starts at 12 o'clock. So most of those teams, listen, they've gone through a long draft process, so they'll hang around, have some fun, maybe come home on Sunday. But they've got to be back at work like before. So the exciting day today with free agency coming up. So.
I was talking to my son yesterday. How do they work? How are bonuses factored into your cap?
Yeah, that's a great question. Now, I believe I was actually going to talk about that. Man, you and I like on the same wavelength.
We're like,
yeah,
about to go.
that's a scary thought for both of us.
Yeah.
So apparently, it was when I was an agent. I think it's still this way. So with Kane, for instance, because he's an older player, he's after 35, he can sign a 1-year deal with a lot of bonuses. You can't do that on a regular contract. You can't have all those bonuses. You can do that in an entry-level contract. And all the bonuses are potential that they could potentially earn have to be factored into the cap.
Is it the full ticket or is it a percentage of it? Or
no, the full thing. So if like in Kane's case, I think he had was a $3 million salary plus probably, but let's say it's a $750,000 bonuses. So they have to factor in $3,750,000 into the cap.
So put your agent hat on.
Yep.
Do you see a trend? Florida, Tampa, Dallas, states that don't have a tax.
Yeah, totally.
So would the NHL ever consider a luxury tax, or maybe like if you play for the Rangers, what's a 11% or something state tax?
Yeah.
If you could write off, or they could write off half of that or something.
So so it comes into the cap, right? So Florida, those teams that you mentioned, Florida, Dallas, Tampa, all have a big advantage, right? So Steven Stamkos, for example, when he hit the open market, 5 years ago, whatever it was, when he signed his contract, he signed, I think, for $9 million with Tampa. Now, he probably could have got, let's say, $11 million, something like you'd say for the Rangers or somebody else that is not one of those states. And not only does Tampa get to keep Stamkos, but they save approximately $2 million on their cap. That happens, Vasilevsky's there, Hedman's there, all those star players can go other places once they're free agents. If they stay there for $2 million less for 4 guys, that's $8 million you have under the cap that everybody else doesn't have.
I mean, the fear was also that the Canadian teams would never be competitive.
Yeah.
But yet Edmonton made it to the Cup final.
Well, you have McDavid. See, to me, you have McDavid, right? Because most like Kane, for example, when he came back, he had his struggles and everything, but he wanted to stay there. The story was he wanted to stay there to play with McDavid, thinking he would win a cup. So, no, it's a valid. They must be talking about it. I guess how do you do that? Because you're almost like penalizing those teams that are in those good states for being in those states. It shouldn't be their issue that they.
Yeah, well, I guess you don't want to penalize them, but you want to make an even playing field, somewhat, so that there's parity.
But it backs some point though. That's true. So now, if you're going to even out, then like you said though, with Canada, the taxes are even higher in Canada than they would be in a state like New York or whatever. So do you now give a different tax advantage or disadvantage, however you want to structure it with the Canadian teams? Are they allowed to spend more money because of the tax?
Yeah, well, maybe they come up with a fixed percentage or whatever you know what I mean? Like, so it's 11%, you could write off 4%.
Yeah. You do all those things though, so the Rangers, for example, who generate a lot of revenues, Chicago Blackhawks, when they're good, they're going to say, okay, we're generating all this much more revenue, and now you want us to subsidize these other teams more. Well,
yeah, and I guess what could be said to it, like the Rangers or the Hawks or any of the original 6, is listen, your player's getting a salary, but especially in New York, playing in New York, the other money for endorsements and advertising and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, it's New York against Carolina. You're going to make. If it's the same money, you're going to New York.
Yeah, but there isn't a whole lot of marketing dollars except for the star players. Now, the flip side of that, to argue with you a little bit, is the cost of living in New York is so much higher than Carolina.
So much higher, of course. Yeah. No, but I meant like for them personally to do stuff outside of the team.
The players?
Yeah.
But I don't think there isn't a whole lot more to do, though. Yeah, the star players get something. I mean, listen, there's some stuff, like equipment deals and stuff, but like to get a big TV deal or something. Yeah, that's where the NHL. It's just the players and people debate, like say, well, the league should do more stuff to promote the players. They do plenty of stuff. Players like they're as you know, being around players, hockey players. The code is you're supposed to be like this humble team guy. It's not about you. That's why people, NHL players, past and present, kind of look back at PK Subban and say, oh, You understand what you're doing, PK. You're building up your life for after hockey, which is great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're a Norris Trophy winner. And now if I'm on your team and I'm thinking, okay, I'm get to play with PK Subban, we're going to win. Well, then PK just worries about himself, and then we don't win.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, this double-edged sword to all of this.
Let me see here. William Haynes, late night. My wife plays us for the first time for 27 nights. I like, yeah, she's paying. She's buying breakfast.
Buying steak breakfast.
There you go. That's right. So Kane signs with Detroit.
Oh, he did. Okay.
So it's a 1-year deal. And again, I think he got like $3 million, and then about potential bonuses were $500,000 or $750,000.
So who does New York go after? Because they had been talking Stamkos. I don't see that happening.
Why not? You don't think Stamkos?
I mean, it'd be to me. I'd love that.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
He'd have to sign a 1-year deal,
yeah.
Whether he'd want to or not. That's the problem with the Rangers going forward. They've got to get Lindgren. I think who else signed?
Miller.
Miller. I think Miller is next year. Miller.
And then Shesterkin's what, 2 years?
Yeah, he's got 1 more year of his deal. And they got to get Schneider signed during that time.
Schneider.
Yeah. And I really believe, I believe more and more that they'll try to trade Capo Caco and Trouba.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they signed Capo right away. So
yeah. So I got to tell you, I give Drury credit. I mean, it's not like anybody else didn't think of it, but get him signed to a deal.
Yeah.
Put him over on the shelf there. You know it's a reasonable deal, so somebody else can pick him up. You get something for him.
Thanks.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised with Detroit, though, with Trouba coming off a year that wasn't great. Although I'll tell you, I give Eisman credit. He's one of those GMs that he'll try. Like they've got that Schneider kid. Was Cider?
Wow.
Cider. Yeah. And a lot of people were criticizing. It's funny. Look back at the media. They're criticizing Eisman and saying, "What are you doing? He's not that highly ranked." Now it's like, great move. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Trouba, and isn't he from Michigan?
Yes,
Michigan?
And he went to school at Michigan, so familiar with the area.
So I mean, it would be a good fit for him. I think he went to North Dakota, though, didn't he?
No, he's Michigan. Yeah.
Oh, he played in Michigan. Trouba?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was with we did a podcast with Boo Neves, former Ranger.
Yeah,
and he played with him. Spoke very highly of him. They played together at Michigan. So
he was a Connecticut kid, wasn't he, Boo?
Upstate New York. I'm very close to upstate New York. Yeah. Good kid. He's good. He's got that. What is it? Top line or something like that. Hockey. I can't remember what it's called. But really, like they got a bunch of guys working all over. They got a bunch of different rinks where they're doing hockey camps and individual teaching.
Good.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. He's got quite the personality. He's good. What are you doing going on? So we got free agency today.
Yeah.
So the Rangers. So again, it's also the first day that they can. So I think Trouba has to. He's probably already done it. Given the 15 teams that he will not go to.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of. So again, just to be people clear, there's a no movement clause and there's a no trade clause, and a lot of teams are giving those out now. They really kind of tie their hands when they do. But top end players are good free agents, or big free agents. So Panarin, for example, has a no move clause, so he can't go anywhere. Now, it's somewhat of a misnomer that you say he can't go anywhere. He can ultimately go someplace. The team can come to him and say, "Listen, we'd like to trade you." Yeah. Now, if he can ultimately say, "No, I don't want to go anywhere." But now you've got an awkward situation, right? Now the team has said, "We don't want you anymore."
We don't want you.
Right.
What's left on his contract?
Panarin, I think he's got 4 or 5 years left. I think.
Oh.
Yeah. I think at least 4. I think.
Yeah.
So what it does for the player, though, the good thing is, even though he could get traded, but he puts him in control of where he can get traded.
Right.
Like he can say, and there's no. So like if the no trade clause, there's that 15-team list that you give the team that you do not want to go to.
Yeah. But
the flip side of that is like Gaudreau, he did not. One of the teams on his list was San Jose, so they ultimately put him on waivers. Now, somebody said today, who was it? I was listening to. That Drew's got to be careful because if he continues to do this stuff, like supposedly Trouba's not happy. He didn't want to get traded. He's a captain. He played with a broken ankle, all that stuff. But you know what, though? Like the theory was that other people wouldn't want to come to the Rangers because of that. It's business. That's happened for years, so people don't want to worry about that.
Yeah. The worst has been done to star players.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Leetch wasn't happy with the Rangers, but nobody's like he's not going around.
Let's not forget what Bill Muckler was that his name? Did to
John
Johnny
Muckler.
Mack. John Muckler. What he did to John McClain? He sent him to go play, I don't know, out in Montana or something.
Oh, is that right?
Remember the International League?
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I think back because we talked about this before with Ted Sater when he first came in. He was trying to lay down the law. So he took the really popular players too. So he sent Mike Rogers and Nick Fotiu to Hartford. He sent Glennie Hanlon to Adirondack. and he sent Pierre LaRouche to Hershey. Like the real slap in the face is you're not even sending them to some other team that's in their same organization. They're turning them outside the organization. So, and again, we hated him for that, but it didn't stop players from coming to the Rangers. Other players don't really care. I mean, it's awful to say it that way, and I wouldn't either. If some other guy gets screwed over by the team and it was a right situation for me, I'm still going.
Yeah, you feel bad later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When I meet the guy that I'm going, I felt terrible.
I felt terrible about you.
I still
What's your name again?
Yeah. We had James Patrick on our podcast, and a great guy. Have you ever met James Patrick?
Jeep? No.
Really, really character guy,
so.
intelligent. He's really gotten, like, he's a good coach out there.
Good coach.
He's out there in, where's he again? I can't, Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful country out there. And he was telling us a story how he was in Winnipeg, and Ron Duguay was coming in for some charity game. And James ran into him maybe was at the game or whatever. And Duguay walked up to him, and James said, "Hey, Ron, how you doing?" Thinking that Ron remembered him. Well, Dukes had no idea who he was. Even when James Patrick said, "Hey, Ron, it's James Patrick," he still didn't know.
The guy played in the league for like 40 years.
I know, like 20-some years. That's Dukes. So Dukes is fantastic in that crew, but Dukes is in his own world. And there's no use. Yeah. He'll admit it.
That's the way. At least he admits it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. What are you doing for 4th of July? Exciting?
Depends on the weather, but it looked lousy, but now it looks like it's clearing up. So we'll probably go out to the beach. But we had our first dial-in swim the other day.
Good. I saw that. You posted something about that, didn't you?
Yeah, Bill did it under 2 hours, and we stopped for him to do pull-ups on the boat and stuff like that. Yeah.
Is that how long it took in the past 2 hours to swim?
Well, generally speaking, just to swim it. Yeah. But don't forget, the day of the event, you're stopping and you're going up on 2 barges, doing push-ups and pull-ups, and so it adds time for sure. And the other thing too is you got to stay within the pack. Yeah,
I know. That was a funny thing we talked about before, right? Where there's such type A personalities, or beyond type A, or triple A. And the one guy that we talked about it before, he wasn't mad necessarily, but he didn't want to wait. And again, there's no winner or loser. It's just he wanted to be first. So.
But it's really like when you get to New York and you look back and you go, really?
Yeah.
Just swam here.
I know. In that water too. I know. Yeah.
It was pretty bad the other day.
And you know what it is too, the mentality of those guys. Again, guys, we're talking about the swim across the Hudson that our buddy Bill Brown started. He started, but it's not just him. Mark plays a huge role in getting it all together, the barges and the boats and all that kind of stuff. So it's they get about 200, 250
This
people?
Year they're expecting 300. So this is the second year with the Navy SEAL Foundation as the host, so to speak. And so about 300. Bill had a test swim 2 weeks ago, I believe. Right. And there was probably 50 or 60 guys there. So, it's going to be really big. And it's such
so people don't know it's primarily Navy SEALs, but it's also other military personnel, some police officers too, or no?
So it's SEALs, any veteran, a lot of special ops guys from Green Beret and MARSOC and those guys. For any first responder, law enforcement, fire department, and there's some Israeli. Guys that are their version of Navy SEALs that are going to be swimming it. Right. And there's a few Patriots, people that just have done this swim.
Right. Some college kids.
Yeah, there's usually like 4 or 5 Division I swimmers who that older SEAL always beats.
I know. Year. I remember Kim saying to the guys last time I was there, the college kids, they're really nice people. He said, "You guys should join the SEALs." And the kids looked at him and go, "No, I'm not doing that."
I mean, because that guy, I think his name is Mark, actually, but he's about 52-ish. He had just, when you and I met him, and that was probably 4 years ago, he just transitioned from being a BUD/S instructor to civilian life.
That's right.
At that time.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie? And I'm not typically a Tom Cruise fan.
Who's that?
I'm not typically a Tom Cruise fan, but you've seen the new Top Gun movie, the Maverick movie?
I did see it, yeah.
I broke down. I hadn't watched it, and I put it on the other night on Prime, and that's pretty cool. More the graphics and everything.
By the way, so Beth and I just finished up Bass Reeves. It's on Prime. It's a really good series. It's like a guy that an African American right after the Civil War becomes deputized, and it's a great story. And this is based upon Bass Reeves, who was a real guy.
Right.
His great grandson is, think now,
Bass Reeves. So Ryan Reeves. Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't know. Beth told me last time because she was like Googling and stuff.
Man.
Yeah.
And
Wikipedia.
okay, here's another one. Donald Brashear, the former fighter.
Mhm.
Did you ever see the movie with oh God? Anyways, he was one of the first black divers, and he lost his leg. There was a movie about him. I can't remember what it is, but I think that's
Deep sea diver.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were going in and assemble or disassemble, like doing with the big suits on the whole bit.
Yeah.
And he lost his leg and then fought to get back in to dive. And it's Donald Brashear's uncle, grandfather, something like that. So
The true story.
yes, the true story is
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's pretty funny.
everybody- so what's the date again of the swim?
So the swim is August 10th.
August
The
10th?
rain date would be the 11th. 10th is Saturday. We've yet to have, and knock on wood,
Yeah.
a rain issue.
It's always been nice weather. Yeah.
So anybody interested in going, go to NavySealFoundation.org, and it lays it all out. But sorry, it's my son.
Biden. Joe Biden.
Yeah. Thinks he's calling whatever. But anyhow, so yeah, August 10th, we start at Liberty State Park at the Fallen Towers Memorial.
Oh, it's beautiful too.
for-
Oh man.
Yeah.
I recommend to anybody just to go there in the morning and just listen to these guys and listen to them talk. It's very emotional, very patriotic. Pretty cool.
Yeah, we start off with a benediction and a few men speak. And then they do 100 push-ups there. Then there's about a 1.25 mile flag run down to where they get wet. If you've seen a commercial, it's an insurance. I think it's Liberty.
Yep.
With the statue's always behind.
Yeah.
That's like kind of funny commercials, but that's where they get wet. And then they swim to the statue where the first barge is, where my crew will be up on deck and they do the push-ups and the pull-ups, and they get wet again, and we zip over on a quick boat. I mean, you've done it.
Yeah.
We go back up. But anyhow, yeah, so it's quite an event. It's
Well, I tell you, the view too. So you got all these Navy SEALs and all these people are all jacked, it's 6-packs and everything. They just got a pair of tiny little shorts on, and they put a flag with a flagpole over their shoulders, and they're running and marching. It's like, oh my God. Oh,
it the very first year we did it, Tom, remember, so there were only 33 SEALs. And when you and I were in New York, and they came running up the street in formation, with these huge American with the flags.
The bagpipes are going a little bit.
Yeah, and like, and I tell this story a lot. I said, can you imagine you had a hard, rough Friday night, maybe you had a few too many, and you walk out of your apartment building, and you go, what is going on? Are we under attack or something?
You imagine like a tourist walking down, walking down the street, because it's right by the towers. They go. Remember, there was one rumor, we talked this before, that Antifa was going to show up.
So
and we got these guys walking around. Antifa's not showing up here, that's for sure.
And there was actually some preparation for that.
Oh, you mentioned it to me, yeah. Oh, really?
So I don't want to get into too great detail, but
okay,
there was some thought put forward. On if it happened, how we were going to react. Yeah.
Oh, I hate to say it, but I wish that had happened.
It would have been an interesting occurrence, but thank God it didn't happen.
Oh, that's funny
for them.
No,
for us. Good guys always win.
Yeah, no kidding. Do you have any special forces group? Do you
in the swim? If that's the question, William. Yeah, we do have some SF guys that were Green Beret. Like I said, some MARSOC, some Delta guys, and then a lot of Marine, a lot of Navies, a lot of SAR, which are search and rescue swimmers, and then even when you look at the law enforcement, we get a lot of ESU guys, emergency services guys, because they have scuba team, dive teams to recover and stuff like that. So it's a wide swath of really tier 1, very qualified people.
And I should have been surprised, but I was surprised. Now I'm used to being around these guys. Just fantastic people too. Like they're not these like hard asses. They're very intelligent, like very thoughtful people, like engaging in a conversation. They're going to talk to you. It's like they're engaged in the conversation. It's eye to eye. They pay attention to what you're saying.
It's like you better make sure you're on your game.
Yeah. Is our buddy Kenny Bigby Jr. coming?
He will not be here this year. He's really busy. So he's working alongside Jared Wahangi, who was a 20-year SWAT guy out in Salt Lake, and they're teaching tactical all over the planet, pretty much. Yeah. Kenny's a great guy, man.
So anybody doesn't know, Kenny Bigby is a retired Navy SEAL. We did a podcast with him and a couple other guys.
Johnny Martin and Bill, of course, Bill Brown.
And the one guy that was a recruiter from Utah or something like that.
Kenny.
That's right, because he was also Kenny,
And he still is the recruiter for this area.
And he was telling us how he hated swimming. And I'm going, okay, let me get this straight. You're a Navy SEAL. And it's that ability to fight through stuff, to say, listen, I don't like this, but I want to be a Navy SEAL, right? Mm-hmm. So, but Kenny Bigby Jr. I'll never forget this too, and I've told this story many times, but I repeat a lot. So we were talking on the podcast, and we were talking about some of my theories about in hockey. You close the gap, right? You're a defenseman. You close the gap on the opponent, so you don't give him time and space. I said that's the same thing with life. If you have a problem, don't wait for it to come to you. Close the gap. And he's like, to my point about him, like really them paying attention. He's like, Tommy, that, like the eyes wide open. That's unbelievable. Like, can I use that? Here's his Navy SEAL. Yeah, I'll let you use it, Kenny.
That's Kenny.
Yeah, he's
it's
intense,
hard to
right?
describe, but he's got such a energy and like that focus is like.
He's on point every day. Yeah,
but at the same time, he's got one hell of a sense of humor.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
I called him one day. I can't remember how it went, and he called me back. He goes, "Hey, swole brother," and I thought he meant soul brother, and I'm thinking, oh, Kenny, I'm not black. No, I meant swole, like your muscles are swole.
Yeah, you're a big dude. Well, he tells a story of going through buds. I probably told this before. I apologize, but he was taking a shower, and he had cold shower, right? Yeah. And another guy was going by. I go, "Baby, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm taking a cold shower." "Why are you doing that?" So I'm trying to acclimate myself. He said, "Listen, man, you get a chance to take a warm shower, you take it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a while."
Yeah.
But the way Kenny tells it, it's much better.
I don't know where to keep my shirt on. That's a tough one though. It should be Mark to keep his shirt on. That's not. Break the orders.
The birds
Mr. Shirtless. Delta was all Army, but now it's a mixture of an elite forces from.
Yeah, basically. Well, so David Goggins, who's a pretty well-known SEAL, he went to Ranger School and Delta School. So you can switch. I mean, you could be a SEAL and become Delta, or you could be Delta and become SEAL. The difference between SEALs and Delta, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's SEALs. It's direct mission. They always have a direct mission. It's not. It's either a QRF, a quick response force, where Delta also try to assimilate within the community. Similar to Green Berets, because they're a step up from Green Beret, but you have to learn languages, and what they try to do is get indigenous people to join their side, so to speak. Where SEALs is just.
When I was in Green Beret, we were the real deal. I did not. Did we know that William is Green Beret? Wow, good job, bud. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I have a young man that I've trained with and trained, who's currently in the Air Force Special Warfare Bill, and he did their version of Buzz, which is down in San Antonio. He completed it about a month ago, but they were doing 3.5, 4 hours a day in the pool. And you would say, well, why would the air rescue? Because, obviously we go down in the water. So they have to be really, as the Green Beret were.
I don't want to misrepresent. I think we may have misread that. He said, when I was in, the Green Beret were the real deal. So,
yeah.
But still, William is in, no less.
Yes, no less. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, no kidding. So how are you with diet now? Like we've talked about this, like events like July 4th. Do you break the diet at all, or still strict?
Yeah. No, because it's got to a point now. If I go off it, I pay for it.
Like you like to eat a hot dog, but then you feel terrible after eating a hot dog.
No, I've never wanted it. I was always a burger guy.
Oh, is that right? Eh? Wow.
Yeah, hot dogs.
So so what do you put on your burger?
The usual, it depends. Mayonnaise, mustard.
Pickle? You're a pickle guy or no?
Oh yeah, I eat pickles every day.
Do you really?
Yeah, even in the morning with my eggs. Because fermented food's really good for your biodome, your stomach rather.
But taste-wise, like the texture and taste-wise,
really? I like that briny taste.
Yeah.
I tell you that. Stop. We drink pickle juice.
Yeah.
When it gets really brutal out. And one day I was in whatever it was 7-Eleven. I saw they had frozen pops, pickle juice.
Oh, okay.
And we had just got done training. I couldn't stop sweating for like an hour. So I grabbed those and I get in the truck and I'm driving back up. It's the nastiest thing because it's such a conflicting thing. Like a cool, you're expecting refreshing,
right?
And it was a pickle juice.
Yeah.
Like this.
Because it's all vinegar and everything, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's got a lot of electrolytes in it. It's got a lot of salt, which
But I mean, taste wise, is it you just taste the vinegar, or what do you taste?
I like that taste. I like that fermented taste.
Right.
I know University of Alabama, they put pickles on the sideline for 2 days in the summer.
Huh.
So guys should actually just sit there eating
pickles.
Yeah.
Huh. So like tomato, lettuce, and
so the usual. I'll make it without a bun.
No bun, no cheese.
Depends. The cheddar, I will do cheddar because that's okay. But we can do American, out of plastic.
I know.
Yeah.
How about would the hot dogs have like a chicken dog or no? Wouldn't do that.
Nah, it's ultra processed. I mean, just have some chicken.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. It is Happy Canada Day. That's right. Thanks, Ron Jameson.
Oh,
Yes.
that's right. Yeah. Happy Canada Day.
So after this show, we'll be recording a show with I can't remember his name. Alberts. He used to play for Boston. And Andrew Alberts. Yeah, Andrew Alberts, I think it was. He used to play for Boston. So we'll be recording a Full Change podcast with him at 11. And then at 12:30, I'll be on at Hockey Buzz. You ever heard of Hockey Buzz? This guy? So during the lockout of 04-05, this guy, he was a musician around the Philadelphia area. And he ended up getting all these scoops. He got to know some hockey players. So he'd get all these scoops, and he would send out a newsletter with everything. And it was all like the scoops that were going on during the negotiations. And a lot of it was very accurate. So, but he didn't disclose who he was. And that was part of the allure to it.
Oh, okay.
So it became, people were like, who is this guy? They were trying to guess who it was and everything. So I signed up for the newsletter. He saw my email and he contacted me because of the hockey player and everything.
Yeah.
So I got friends with this Dwayne Klessel is his last name. So he's still doing Hockey Buzz. It really went big time for a while. So he does a show like for this kind of events like Free Agent Day and everything. So I'll get on with him for an hour. It's pretty good. He has a really interesting crew, because a lot of times you can't agree with everybody, right? Or else the show is boring. Everybody's got to have their own opinion. So we get some interesting debates going on.
How many people will be on stage? Just you and him, or is it a panel?
No, we'll probably have about 4 or 5. Yeah,
cool.
I think some people come and go, like the scoops. Some of them are reporters, so there's scoops going on. They'll get off and then they'll get back on again. But it's,
what's the biggest rumor you're hearing of, like major player or whatever?
It's more. I think it's surrounding the Rangers. Maybe it's more because I'm former Ranger that it's the whole Trouba thing.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that like the Stamkos thing. I don't know if I see that deal getting done right away. That may be a deal that lasts for a while. So excuse me.
So what would the idea? Put him on the right side, or put him? Well, he's a center, right?
But I think he can play the right side, though. He's a right winger.
I kind of think he might have. Yeah.
Yeah, but the way those guys play, though,
Doesn't matter.
I'll line up at the face-off. It matters better than that. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. How was Zibanejad on the draw?
He got better. He was not good, but I think he's gotten better at it. Yeah. I'm not like people are talking a lot about that they need that right winger on that side. You look back at time like with Trottier and Bossy, they stayed together all the time and they switched it. Sometimes it was Gillies coming in, sometimes it was Bourne, sometimes it was Tonelli. So it was always guys coming and going. Same back with Gretzky and Curry. It's the same thing. They had Semenko there sometimes.
So here's my question. I'm going to be a little bit of a kind of naysayer.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, and I agree with you to a large extent, then it's time to give up on those two. Because every time the rink shrinks, they disappear.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who you put on the right side.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Well, here's the thing, too. We could have a surprise. I mean, like Kreider, he now goes to the point, same thing as Trouba, where he can get traded. He's got a no trade clause.
Right.
He's the bad thing for that is he's not making that much money. I think he's making like 6 something. That's a pretty team-friendly deal. So you're really not going to – although like with Trouba, they've got to eat part of the contract. I think the Rangers are paying like 2.5 of the $8 million.
I was going to say probably 2.5.
Yeah, but Kreider, I mean, I think he's a valuable enough player that somebody said, and I think he's only got like 2 years on his deal, that somebody would say, man, I could pick him up, give up some young prospects or something. I like that whole deal because that's a pretty reasonable deal. So, but yeah, now they're saying like, we talked about Bill Zito in Florida and it worked when he went in there 3 years ago, won the President's Trophy, said, this isn't going to do it. Or, it's nice that we won the President's Trophy, but we're not going to win with this team. He changed things around. Now he was lucky that like a Tkachuk was available. Right. I guess I was talking to our old buddy Gresher this morning too, and he was saying, and it's true. So the Brady Tkachuk is up in Ottawa. I don't know. I think he may be more talented offensively, but not as physical.
His game too.
Yeah, he's got that grit to him. Yeah, so you could have that theory. Listen, Ottawa may see themselves. Listen, we're going to lose Tkachuk. He's not going to stay here. He's going to do what his brother did. So we might as well get something for him now.
Right. What about Trouba there?
Could be. Yeah, good point. I don't know at this point. I know you'd have to get a lot more than just Trouba.
Well, throw picks in or whatever. Yeah. Prospect maybe.
But yeah, so it'll be interesting. There's going to be some things that happen that people didn't anticipate. There's been a lot of trades so far too. Like Washington's made a lot of trades. Utah's made some trades to really strengthen themselves. The Kraken have made trades. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a fair bit of stuff that happened at the draft, moving around draft picks and everything. I was kind of amazed though. Like Philadelphia and who was it? Somebody. It was Minnesota. Made a trade. So Philadelphia had the 12th pick in the draft. They made a deal with Minnesota for the 13th pick in the draft. Just one pick later. So they flipped picks, and then Philadelphia got a 3rd round pick. The theory was that there's a guy that Philly wanted, or that Minnesota wanted, that they're afraid, but it's only one pick. I mean,
Yeah.
I just thought it was kind of see. And if Philly really wanted that pick, why did they give up? If they wanted the guy that Minnesota ultimately picked,
Mhm.
why did they move back a pick? So it's kind of I thought it was kind of weird pick, but
Yeah, that's strange.
yeah.
This morning I watched a documentary on the WHA,
Oh,
and I've seen a whole bunch. I read a couple books. It was a fun time for
Yeah,
for
yeah,
hockey.
yeah.
But they made a good point. I didn't think this when you brought in all the Europeans like Nielsen and Hedberg,
Yep.
and those guys changed the game.
Yeah.
Really changed the game, and
Yeah.
it's pretty much what we see now, where it's a skill. Because who was it? I think Paul Henderson, one of the guys, was saying, yeah, these guys came in, they were like 6% body fat.
Oh, I
and
know.
they had crazy skill set.
Yeah.
And we were still kind of just
Yeah, the stretching
Doing our
before the games and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. I
yeah.
remember Robbie Fattori first came into the Rangers and he started stretching and he's on the floor. We're all looking around
all
like,
right.
what the, you hurt, Robbie?
Yeah, you have Tourette's.
Yeah.
What's going on?
A couple of interesting points here. Hold on. Supreme Court just ruled that there's immunity for presidents while they're in office and for their actions while serving while in office.
Yeah, it's not been a good week for the Democrats. They're really taking it down. I mean, when they brought it all on themselves. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, here's a good one. And I'm glad William brought up. Actually, going to be better too. So one of the rumors out there is that Mitch Marner in Toronto is on the block, which I believe, and I think he should be on the block. And one of the teams that they mentioned is going to Chicago.
Put him on
I
the
think-
right side of the kid.
Yeah, I know.
Two
I was-
OHL guys. Yeah.
I know. If I was Marner, I'd want that. Right?
Yeah.
That's an up and coming team in a great city.
It would take the pressure off of Marner too.
Yeah, he's in Toronto. There, he's a
Just stand
Toronto
and
kid.
Tap it in.
Yeah, and he's a Toronto kid. He's in Toronto. There's all these expectations.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I would still trade Matthews as well, but that's a big move. Trade both those guys, but
What your negativity on Matthews?
I just don't think he's a winner. I just like he does little things like. So listen, I don't expect him to fight, but if something's going on and he gets in confrontation with a guy, his teammates come running in, and I've seen him a few times. He just pulls right out of the pile. At least stay in there and put a glove in somebody's face or something. You know?
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens.
I think, you remember Roddick Dvorak?
Yeah.
Great player.
Yeah.
Great kid too. Really good
Yeah.
kid. But one of the guys, I think he got jumped by Ronick in Philly
Oh,
toward the end of the season. I don't know why Jeremy did. It was kind of stupid. But somebody in the locker room said, Devo, you got to fight once in a while. He goes, oh, I saw a fight once in junior. Like that was his total experience. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like you got to stay in there, right? You can't, like if you're backing away from it, it's like
Don't turtle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. If you're expecting your teammates to come and save you, that's they will, but you got to participate as well. So.
Yeah, get involved.
Yeah, I remember we were in Washington. Thomas Sands was a young player. I think Ulf Nielsen was still playing. We had Jan Eriksson, Peter Stund, some good guys, and I didn't know Thomas yet, and he was a shit disturber too. He was always starting trouble.
Oh yeah.
So he did something to Stevens, and Stevens lost his mind and went after him. So I had to come diving in and grab Stevens and
Scott
pull,
Stevens?
and pull him down. Yeah.
Oh,
and-
an easy guy to pull.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I made sure I said to him, I said, listen, I'm not here to fight you, but I'm not letting you go after my guy. Right. You understand? And he was losing his mind. And so after the game, it was pretty cool. So I got kicked out for third man in, and we're on the bus, and Thomas didn't know. He barely said something to me. His English just wasn't that good. But Anders, Peter Sundstrom, and Jan Eriksson, they're really cool. They came over and said, Tommy, thank you very much for doing that for him. So they really recognized it. So it's a good
cool.
feeling. I think it really bonds
Yeah.
the team when you do stuff like that.
Sure, absolutely.
But I remember.
Stevens, he was nuts when he first came.
Oh yeah. Oh,
He was
totally.
out of his mind. Man.
I remember I watched the video of this, and he's just losing his mind. I'm standing there, I'm thinking, I can't let him get to Sandstrom, but I'm not looking forward to.
I wonder what would cause that.
He probably, probably speared him and nuts or something. Yeah. All right, brother. Well, good to see you.
Have a happy
What
Fourth.
is July 4th? It's
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay. Are we celebrating it on like the fireworks and everything on the weekend, though, or what's?
So you know that's a funny good thing. You asked that. It used to everybody did it on the 4th, but now towns do it after, before. It's I think it's a cost effective to do it.
Yeah, it's funny. We had a boat. We're in the Long Island Sound, obviously, so we'd go in the boat when they were at fireworks. It was cool because all around you can see there's different fireworks going off. There was like 100 different fireworks. My boys are smaller and everything, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You ever have a boat?
Well, I grew up on a lake. I never had an outboard.
Oh.
I had a rowboat, a canoe, but I never had a small dinghy. Also,
Yeah, 2 best days for a boat owner.
what's when you buy it and sell it?
Yeah, it's true too. I love the boat, but it's just like so much
lot of
maintenance
work.
to it. Yeah.
It's a full time job.
It's like you got to win the lottery so you get a big enough boat and have somebody else
hired
take care
Kurt
of
Russell to be the captain.
it. What movie was that? What was that with Goldie Hawn, right?
Overboard.
Overboard. That's right.
Yeah.
Goldie Hawn. Oh God.
This
They're
kid
amazing. So they've been just like you. You're like, you know what? You're like Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. You've been together all this time but didn't get married.
That's right.
I'm going to call you Kurt from now on,
Kurt.
and Beth will be Goldie.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you
that's
go.
her. There you go.
Yeah. I'll let her know. Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
You know what she'll say? I'd rather have Kurt.
No way. You see him now? You're way better
Yeah,
looking
no,
than he
it's
is.
pretty. Yeah,
Age did not.
he let it
Age
go.
did not treat him well. Yeah.
She's a
Yeah.
little bit frightening too, but
Yeah.
that's what happens.
I know. I don't know if she was ever really one of the total hotties, but she had that personality.
Personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, brother. You have a fantastic 4th of
You
July.
too.
We'll see everybody. Everybody, again, remember 988 hotline, all that stuff, shoulder check. Let's make sure we're taking care of each other. All right. Have a fantastic holiday. I'll be back on Thursday. So we'll see everybody then. See you, brother.
Be good. So, have you been to the doctor yet since Friday?
Hold on. We haven't ended here yet.
Oh.
I don't know why we haven't ended.